Hey everybody, GeForce 41 here with another PGA Tour 2K23 golf course tip design video. This is Quick Tips 8. We're up to number 8 already. And first, my apologies for being away so long. I had a little vacation with the family, taking some time off from doing some content here, but happy to get back in it. So quick tips is where we do to review some real beginner designer courses and give them some quick tips, to help their course design skills. A lot of this stuff you will see in my other videos, but again, that's why I do this, because I see a lot of the same mistakes over and over again. And there's simple stuff that can help new designers, and I'm happy to share it because I struggled when I was a new designer. And I leaned heavily on videos out on YouTube here to help me. So happy to kind of give back a little here. So this one is Ridgemont by Josh. The handle is Stef-pineapple. I believe it's his third course, he said. And we're going to take a look at it here. First thing I noticed, I don't go into the setup screens anymore before I start these videos. But there's one tee and only two hole locations. So you can maybe get away with the one tee. Sometimes it's better to offer maybe two, three tops. I mean, a lot of people go crazy with it, 5, 6 sets of tees. I keep it to one or two, or I'm sorry, I keep it to two or three. But definitely try to have 4 hole locations to, think about hosting a tournament sometimes, right? So anyway, we're playing the first hole location here. First thing, if you've been watching my videos, what do we notice here? Bit of a blind tee shot here. The visual is not that great off the tee. You've got a pretty flat shot. It's only 2 feet down, and you can't see anything. You can see the beginning of the fairway here, and nothing else. And there's a bunker down there. Again, it's a downhill tee shot slightly. All this should be in play, right? So, right here in front of the tee box, there's little to no reason why that's so high up. You could lower all that and make a much better visual. You could also raise the tee box a little. I would probably do a little bit of both here, okay? So again, the visual off the tee, especially on the first hole, you should really focus on it and make it really, really appealing. Have somebody say, oh, that's nice, wow. Hey, it's not going to be the greatest course ever necessarily, but you do want something to capture the user's eye and keep them interested, right? Here's blah, the tree line's blah, and you kind of can't see where you're hitting, okay? All right. Let's get rolling. Again, I'm not big on the grid lines. I just think they look a little silly unless you're doing something very specific. The bunker does not look particularly sculpted. We'll take a look at those. The splining here, you've got some light rough. It looks a little jagged. I hope you're not using auto gen anywhere. I hope all the auto gen stuff is off. Bunkers, yeah, they're kind of funny. Kind of a funny spot right in front of the green there, if you ask me. And you're using the shapes. When you use the shapes, you get that funny outline in the middle of the fairway. So you got to be careful of those. You use the splines most likely if you want it to really stick into the fairway without that outline, or you put a little bit of an outline around it using a spline. In other words, you purposely put a little bit of light rough or heavy rough around it. That's just kind of awkward looking. Let's take a look over here. And then you got this one kind of halvesy going in and going out. And I don't see a whole lot in terms of sculpting there. Okay? So bunkers need some work. One of the most challenging parts of this, I know. Green shapes looks okay, a little unique. I'm going to get too much into that here, and I killed it. I have no idea what the speed was. I hit it before I even looked. Speed's 137, which is fairly slow if you ask me. Looks a little uneven around the hole, okay? So you should be a little bit smoother around the hole than that. That will annoy people. Gigantic plants behind me. So be careful of the size of your planting to make it realistic. That looks a little unrealistic. So you've got a nice little short 3 here. Green, that's way too small. Okay. And that bunker is just odd. It just comes up too close and hugs the green too much. The general shape of this isn't bad if that green was bigger and the bunker was a little smaller and a little bit set back from the green. But try to think of a real green and be realistic. Anything that's not, whoops, it's barely the size of this aiming circle is a little too small, okay? Of course, I snuck one in there. Now, small greens on short holes are appropriate. It's just this was not exactly well executed, if you ask me. Planting looks a little odd. It's a little light colored for me. Okay, so now we're getting a little prettier here. I kind of like this. You could work this tree line a little bit more. Again, check out my tree line videos. Not bad. And the placement of the bunker is okay. I mean, you're doing the pinch at about 300 yards thing. Not the end of the world. And the splining, you see what I mean? It's not exactly smooth. You can see up there, again, it's a little pointy. Don't forget the fairways are going to be fairly smooth. Just look at real life fairways, right? Look at the fairways of the expert designers out here. Take some time to go through that spline by spline. Again, you're fronting this bunker with you're fronting the green with a very large odd-shaped bunker. Yeah, not sure I'm a fan of that. You could maybe use a small bunker here. And again, this bunker, the green is shaped a little odd. There's nothing wrong with being creative, but you've got it pretty small and pretty sloped for a fairly long hole. So it's not particularly receptive. Again, the splining around the green is a little jagged. Smooth that out. Definitely use unique and interesting shapes, but try to make sure you go in and put the time in making things look good. And I know when it's new, it's a little hard. You might be kind of thinking, what the hell is he talking about? But if you've watched the videos, you've seen and heard the pattern, right? It's spline by spline, even them out, smooth things out, get it to look the way you want it to look. Don't just throw the splines down and say, what the hell, right? All right, so again, you kind of got the same thing as the first hole here, kind of down around 300. You've got a bunker that goes off to the left, and you've got a pond. We'll take a look at that as we approach it. And I pulled it. Yeah, I definitely think you got some auto gen of the light rough in there. So when you're designing, folks, if you set your parameters and you set the course and you get everything and it just comes up first, for some reason it does pull up, I forget what it is, a little bit of rough, light rough, and heavy rough. You got to go in and zero that out, okay? Because you don't want the auto gen of the light rough and the heavy rough. It's going to cause you problems and it's going to look a little silly. It's going to cause you all this kind of stuff. And you want control over all of this. So not a bad idea with the rocks. This looks a little uniform. I would not have selected that set of plants and grass. Again, it looks very computer generated. So look, if you look at my making your planting look natural video, that's what that's all about. Making it look like natural growth that's just not computer generated and completely uniform kind of going across. It shouldn't look like Nintendo from 1987. It should it should look like, pretty realistic. But you do have to vary the shape, vary the size, and rotate things. All right. On to the first par 5. Let's see what you got in store for us here. Again, a fairly blind tee shot. So we've talked about this a number of times. Yeah, there's no reason for that bump right in front of the tee box. Right? And there's the bump kind of in the fairway up here. Show off your work, folks. That's been a main theme of pretty much all of these videos. And now you know why I do them, because you see this constantly all the time with new designers. Show off your work. Get that terrain sculpted down and out of the sight of view, unless there's a strategic reason for it, which here there's not. Again, you're just pinching at 300 yards. I don't like that at all. I would more room on either side. You can have a bunker there, but maybe way over here, okay? And this a little bit over there. Again, there's little to no sculpting going on here. So you've got to sculpt those bunkers, okay? Pretty much this is just straight away hit it. Give me a bounce because I wanted to see what this approach was like. Alright, so you got a few bunkers here to make a decision on the layup. I'm in the heavy rough and I don't have a good lie. So I am actually just going to go off over here. So that seems okay to me. When you do want to have the third shot option, there's a little bit of strategy behind it. Again, you want to show off all that work on those bunkers. I couldn't see because I was in the rough, but you want to display the bunkers, right? If you have a bunker in front of you, most likely you want that to be visible. In most cases, that is the case. Are there blind shots and blind bunker shots? Yes, there are, especially on links courses, but this is not one of them. Okay. Yeah, these greens are all they got this funny jagged shape to it. Again, nothing wrong with it. I would just smooth those out a little. They look a little, how should we say it? Uneven. It's the best way of putting it. You got a bit of a puddle over there on my left. They fall off a little. So you've got some interesting contours to it. I would just kind of smooth things a little bit. They look a little lumpy, I guess, is my only concern. Okay. On the 6, again, it's the same thing. Oh, no, it's the same thing. My bad. Thought I saw a bunker coming up over the horizon. That is a bridge, and you've truncated the fairway. Okay, I'm glad we found this hole. It is okay to split the fairway like this and have kind of that can I carry it type of shot. Usually the water, this is a little bit narrower when you have this kind of setup, and the water tends to go diagonal. Okay, can you have it straight? Sure. But a lot of times you have it kind of like diagonal. Which side do I want to try it on? And there's not this much of a carry with the water. It's like usually a stream or a smaller stream. So these types of holes are good ideas, but just a little bit on the execution. Think about it, okay? Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? I mean, that's obviously the appeal of these type holes. But, oh, you got to smooth that out. That's kind of what you're going for. And then if you do it diagonally, you give it a little bit of a more strategy, I guess is the best way to put it. Again, blind, where's the green, right? Again, there's no reason not to see the green in the bunkers here. These greens are fairly small. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but I think they're a little small for what you got going on. If you're doing an old-fashioned, old-school course, that's fine. And they're kind of set down, so you know, they tend to be pitched up a little when you have the smaller kind of old-fashioned greens. Slightly elevated to seriously elevated. As you'll see in my latest work, I'm getting close to putting a beta out. Which basically is I guess, what you'd call an RCR, a real course recreation of a course that's 5 or 6 holes no longer exists. So it's an old Donald Ross. Again, here, same thing, right? I can tell already. Why can I not see this? This could be really pretty, but all this land is blocking the pretty view. Right, let's go back. Right, you see how bumpy and everything this is? Why? There's no reason for that. Smooth all that out and lower it. See all that? That could just be smoothed and lowered and provide a pretty view, okay? Now, this is a little too high. I mean, part of the challenge to the water here is getting the right water level. That's way too steep a bank to go in. I mean, could that happen? Yeah. But again, this is just a matter of sculpting. My guess here and newer designers struggle with this, is you're going with the basic water line, meaning the water level that's underneath the entire course, and you're lowering the land to get to that, rather than using the water tool to just add the water. You're going way down. You don't have to do that. You could add the water. This looks a little funny. So, it's something you need to plan and be careful of if you're going to have a stream go through the whole course. If you're going to use the natural water table that's underlying the whole course, you need to be careful with that. If you put in your own water and the land formation changes, that is, you have elevation changes, you run into a problem because you can only do it one level at a time. I might not be explaining that well, but if you've tried to design, you know what I mean. You can't tilt the water and just lower it gradually. You've basically got to go from 10 feet, okay, put in another panel of water, lower it a couple feet, and put in something like a waterfall. So it is a bit of a challenge, and that's why you tend to see that, because newer designers don't know what to do, and they just lower the water. You got to smooth that out. So, I mean, the other thing there is smooth it out from a longer distance, right? Instead of going straight down, if you'd lowered that entire land mass, you could kind of smooth that out and then have the green be up on a little bit of a hill, right? Okay. All right, a little narrow. It's kind of a shortish type 4. Let's see what we got going here. Bunker in the middle. And now I don't see any light rough. Or do I? It's over on the other side, or am I in the light rough? I'm in the heavy rough. Is there light rough over here? So, yeah, so I'm not sure what's going on with your rough. All right, hole 9. Here we go. Another tee shot. Your obstructed view again. It's like the old Boston Garden, folks. Obstructed view. What is going on with this fairway? Yikes. Not sure what's happening here. That is a very odd shape and a very odd place for a pond. So, and the grass is a little odd. So I would definitely take a look at the planting, my planting videos, and the planting some other people. Matt F. used to do a great series on planting. I think he got some autogen on the plants over there. So, yeah, all in, I think you definitely need some work on the basic planting and sculpting, okay? All right, let's take a look at the next one. And again, you can't see the fairway. It's pretty thin, pretty narrow. And again, yeah, you've definitely got the autogens on here. So, switch off the autogens, folks. Not a bad, I don't mind the bunkerless hole like this. I get the bunker in front of the green. Yeah, that green's a little bumpy, lumpy. I don't know how you're going to get a pin up there. That's at all playable. You probably don't. Maybe you don't, because you only have 2 hole locations. But that's the thing. You want interesting hole locations. I'm sure if you have 2, maybe the other one's here. But if you flatten this out and a little bit, you can make some interesting hole locations up here as well. Okay. So you want your greens to be interesting, but you want pinnable area. That's the art of it all. Some folks are great at it, some are good at it, and some not so good at it. I think that's one of the hardest things, making the greens interesting and having multiple locations that are pinnable. All right, let's take a look at 18. Wrap this up. Again, pretty narrow. A little too narrow for me. It, it looks just a bit of a mess. Like this course isn't kept up very well. In other words, if this was in real life, it almost looks like a muni or something. That planting just doesn't look clean. I don't know, is I guess the best way to put it. But I think, again, that's all the auto-gen stuff. So get rid of all that stuff, okay? Again, you know, same theme. You just can't see anything here. The bunker is way too close to the green. Offset it. Figure out what to do there. Same thing with that big back bunker. You know, usually this would be a good opportunity to elevate the green. Kind of coming home, you know? So I'm not sure what the general plot theme here was, because the land formation is kind of a little odd, right? So a lot of people will do their plot first, especially the PC guys, and then kind of build the course out from there. It kind of seems like you got the 18th on a low point. A lot of times you'll see it on a bit of a high point, right? All right, good job, my man. So that was Ridgemont. A few holes for you there. Hopefully those tips are helpful, but, you know, focus on some of the basics here. The basic sculpting of the bunkers, the fairways, your views, show off your work. And you got to work on those splines, right? So, you know, this stuff is a lot of work to make it look good. But once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. So hopefully these videos are helpful. I'll be back with more soon. It will not be 2 or 3 weeks like it was this month. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you stick with me. We will talk to you real soon. Bye for now.